It's just 1 month to go until the general elections here in Germany, and in our series about future topics that need addressing now, let's talk chips. Toyota is throttling back production, Volkswagen is maintaining short-time work, and even BMW cannot produce as many cars as the company wants. Without computer chips, many sectors are even grinding to a complete halt. Intel says the chip supply bottleneck won't ease for another 2 years. And all the while, demand is surging, driven by a newly emerged home workforce desperate for computers. But the coronavirus has disrupted supply chains and order management. Now, most microchips come from Asia and the United States. Looking at sales by the 15 top producers, over half are made by U.S. companies. Over 43% are made in Asia, and European companies account for a mere 6%. Now, that number is to grow, particularly in light of the current challenges. For that to happen, though, production facilities and trained staff need to be increased.
My name is Fabian Degenkolb. I'm 19 years old and I've been with Global Foundries since last August. I'm training to be an industrial management assistant. I began under coronavirus conditions. On top of that, of course, demand was rising, the sector is booming. So it's been an exciting and instructive year, if somewhat strenuous. Fabian Degenkolb's employer in Dresden runs one of the biggest semiconductor manufacturing plants in Europe. Despite COVID-19, it's been expanding fast. Order books are full till the end of next year. Global Foundries is trying to fill 100 vacancies. It offers apprenticeships in microtechnology, mechatronics and electrical systems. And also industrial management assistants. They sit at the interface between production and customers. It's a key position.
I'm fine. How can I help you?
Degenkolb is the contact for dozens of clients around the world, and they all want those wafer-thin silicon chips, preferably before yesterday, as the company's spokeswoman tells us. Demand is growing because digitization has seen an unbelievable surge, partly due to the coronavirus, but also because the whole world is going digital. We communicate digitally, we drive electric cars, we automate production. We want robots to take the dangerous tasks away from people. The rising demand is evident nearby. Infineon makes semiconductors, just as Bosch does in its new production plant. Construction there began in 2018, and it took a full 3 years to complete. So even beginning to build more new plants, as many are now demanding, wouldn't solve the current chip supply problem. And all semiconductor makers are working with suppliers in Europe, Asia and North America. Trainees learn about that in Global Foundries warehouse, which stocks 15,000 articles. I'd say the chip industry has a pretty rosy future. Growth continues apace. Demand is steady. I feel quite secure here, and I don't think I'll need to fight to keep my job. Later, he'll be able to pass on his experience as well. In 2 years' time, he'll have qualified.
All right, for more, let's bring in Frank Bösenberg. He's the head of Silicon Saxony, an industry association which is, by its own account, one of the 5 largest semiconductor clusters in the world. Welcome to DW. Why is Europe lagging behind, so far lagging behind, in chip production?
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me. Well, the reasons for that are manifold, but one is certainly a lack of understanding of importance of our industry. Only due to the lack of chips in automotive industry, also our region has seen the importance, also the media awareness that the industry deserves for many, many, many years, basically.
I mean, the move towards more digitization, to more people driving electric cars, I mean, that has been foreseeable for quite some time, right? Why was there not more investment in the sector?
Well, it's also part of the truth that the semiconductor industry is heavily subsidized globally. And if we talk about semiconductor industry, we are talking about lots of subsidies. It's not only millions, it's billions of euro or dollars that have to be spent to keep the industry on the continent. And the necessity for this has been judged differently. And Europe has understood the necessity to have it on the continent, not 10 years ago, but only a few years ago.
Now, speaking of the necessity of home production, Bosch started operation in their newest production site in Saxony, a project whose construction started 3 years ago. So quite a time span. How can German and European chip makers address the current shortage other than plan future factories?
Oh, that's really tricky. I mean, basically the responsibilities on the ending side, so on the customer side, that need to think about which chips could be replaced in the short term, because you have to understand the chip manufacturing plant runs 24/7. So otherwise it won't work economy-wise. So it's not easy, if not impossible, to ramp up short term. We are talking about 12 months minimum to have more equipment in the fab to really increase the output. So also the customer side should think on how to use with other chips that possibly are better available.
So short-term solutions are not that easy to materialize here. The industry juggernauts Intel and TSMC have announced to be looking for production sites in Europe, possibly in Germany. From your association's point of view, what difference would a presence of one of these companies make for the European market?
Well, there are 3 aspects, basically. First is you have a certain security, also if it comes to interruptions on transport routes. You think about a volcano or Fukushima or other issues. So transport security. Second is you are closer to the top-notch technology producers, so it would also boost the research landscape. And last but not least, it's also from ecological reasons worth to be considered to save transport routes and have domestic production.
Frank, finally, some experts are estimating that the current lack of semiconductors could well span into 2023. In your opinion, how long will it last?
Yeah, that's difficult to predict, but I would also expect a squeeze situation at least until mid of next year.
Frank Bösenberg, Managing Director of Silicon Saxony, thank you for talking to us.
Thanks.